This section is a real easy section. Has to do with angles and side lengths. Okay, if I made a 20-degree angle, so if this is 20 degrees and this is 11 inches and that's 10 inches. Okay, and then, okay, everyone put their iPads away. Then on the other one, if I keep this the same as that, but then I make, say, we'll do a 50 degree. Like that. Okay, so the two sides are the same, the angles are different. Now if I connect this, use a different color, to make a triangle. I kind of exaggerated this more, but then you can see why it's true every time. They're obviously not the same. I made them kind of a little bit. When you do yours, they won't be that big of a difference, but if you see this, then you can see why it is. What we're doing today is you're going to have two triangles like this, and they're going to ask you, let's see, these will be labeled A, B, C, X, Y, Z. How does the length of BC compare to the length of YZ? It's less. Obviously. So when you're comparing lengths of triangles, all you got to do is compare the angles that are opposite them. Okay? Whatever has the smaller angle has the smaller side. Okay? Yeah, so it's just a common sense deal. Now, like I said, I exaggerated these so you can really see it, but sometimes they'll just have like this, where this is 21 degrees, and then they'll have one like this, which is 25 degrees. This would be less than that because this angle is less than that angle. Okay? Now, it works the other way too. Okay? If they had two triangles like this, then they're going to ask, how does angle A compare to angle X? Obviously, you can see A is a lot less than that. A is less than X. So if the angle isn't, if it isn't labeled, what you do then is you look at the side length. 5 is opposite of A. 9 is opposite of X. 5 is less than 9, so angle A is less than X. That's what the two things are in today's lesson.
So it's either less than or greater than?
Yep.
That's the whole thing today?
That's the whole thing today.
Do we need protractors?
No, we don't. Because the pictures will be on there for you. Yeah, this is the best assignment. Okay, so here's an example. This is one where we're not going to compare. They just want you to write the measures from least to greatest. So looking at this triangle, obviously we know the angles because they're labeled. Angle Z is less than angle X, which is less than Y. So if you wrote them in order, it'd be like that. Angle Z, angle X, angle Y. But if they give you the angles, then you're going to do the sides. If they give you the sides, you're going to do the angles. Okay? So they don't want that, they want the sides. So these three sides, which is the least?
ZY.
ZY. Wait, no.
Which is the shortest side?
XY.
XY is, because 35 is the smallest angle, so the side opposite is the shortest side. So XY, you would list that first. Then 40 is next, so opposite of that is YZ. And then obviously the longest side is XZ. Okay? Then when they give you the sides, you got to list the angles. So of these three, which is the smallest angle?
Angle B.
A, because 5 is the smallest. So 5 is opposite of A. Then it would be C, angle C, and then angle B. Okay. Exterior angle, we learned this before. This angle is equal to these two added together. Remember that? Okay. Now what this says is the measure of an exterior angle of a triangle is always going to be bigger than this one, and it's going to be bigger than that one. That's just common sense. Okay. So here's one of the pictures. It tells us that MN and PN are congruent. That equals that. And that side MP right here is less than MN. So this side is shorter than these two. So what can you conclude about the angle measures? So since this is shorter than these two, what's the smallest angle?
And
N is the smallest.
Then are those the same?
Yes.
yeah, because it's an isosceles.
It's isosceles, so then you'd say M and P are congruent, or yeah. Angle M is congruent to angle P. Okay, so again, if they give you the angles, you list the sides from least to greatest. UT is the smallest, then ST, then US. If they give you the sides, you do the angles. Angle H would be the smallest, then J, then I. Okay, now here's another one. You learned this back in 7th grade. In any triangle, in order for it to be a triangle, any two sides have to add up to more than the third side. If you remember learning that, like if you had 3 sticks, one's 3 inches, one's 5 inches, and one's 10 inches, you can't make a triangle out of that. Because if I put the 10-inch one down first, and then I nailed the 3-inch one on there and the 5-inch there, that only adds up to 8. They wouldn't connect. So these 3 measures can't form a triangle because 3 plus 5 is not greater than 10. So in any triangle, any two sides got to add up to more than the third. 5 and 6 is more than 7. 6 and 7 is more than 5. 5 and 7 is more than 6. Okay? They do try to trick you sometimes. They'll go like this. 5, 5, and 10.
No.
No, 5 and 5 equals 10. So that wouldn't form a triangle. Because it's got to be greater than. Okay?
Alright.
So, here you got to think a little bit. We'll do this one. A triangle has one side that's 12 and another that's 20. What are the possible lengths of the third side?
33.
33?
Greater than 32.
It has to be,
Greater than 32.
no, these got to add up to more than, right? So it's got to be less than 32, right?
Yeah.
Because these add up to 32. If it was exactly 32, it'd just be 2 straight lines.
Yeah.
So it's got to be less than 32 and more than what?
8.
You're correct. You know, how did you get that so quick?
Because that's the difference in between them.
Yeah. To find what they could be is you add them up and you subtract them.
I'll show you.
That gives you the minimum it can be and the maximum it can be.
Nice.
So for this one, if two sides are 8 and 11, it's gotta be less than 19, greater than
2, 3.
3.
Yeah, but if
You can write it that way, or you could write it, greater than 3, less than 19, they mean the same thing. Usually they put the smallest first though and the biggest second. And then the other part is, would these three, yes or no, form a triangle?
Yes.
Yes. These two add up to more than that, these two add up to more than that, and these two add up to more than that.
No.
No, because 9 and 8 is exactly 17.
Good job.